Welcome to Trashmagination, a podcast about reimagining trash. I'm Carla Brown. Today we'll talk about recycled art contests. In the United States, these contests are most commonly held in April for Earth Day or November for America Recycles Day. I'm talking about it now because maybe it will inspire you to host one in April, and this gives you enough time to get that on your list of goals for 2018. I recently attended a contest hosted by the Maryland Department of the Environment called Rethink Recycling. It occurs each November to coincide with America Recycles Day. This year, there were 61 entries from 21 high schools. The sculptures were judged on 3 qualities: creativity, workmanship, and use of materials. There was also a People's Choice category where every guest could vote for their 2 favorite sculptures. And one of my votes did win the People's Choice Award. This year's grand prize winner was a piece called Marry Me. It was made with a mannequin, plastic forks and spoons, broken jewelry, and paint. And here's a kind of fun observation. A third of the sculptures were animals. There was a fox, panda, crab, blue heron, dolphin, anglerfish, koi, cranes, dog, turtles, caterpillar, squirrel, lion, horse, cow, wolf, gecko, and jellyfish. I enjoyed talking with the students about how they got inspired to make their pieces. For example, I was looking at a squirrel made from mostly gears and other parts from watches. The artist gathered many broken watches and worked hard to break them open. It would be a fascinating resource if someone could gather the creative reuse knowledge from all of those students. It would be a great inspiration for other students and artists. I met another student named David Clement. David is from Genesee Upper School in Baltimore. Each year since 2004, students from the school participate in the Kinetic Sculpture Race, an annual event in Baltimore which involves human-powered works of art that must travel on land and by water. My family saw this race a few years ago, and it was truly an original event. The school has a class called Kinetic Sculpture Race Industrial Design, where David learned how to do welding. Interestingly, the Kinetic Sculpture Race also started in 2001, the same year as the first Rethink Recycling high school sculpture contest. David's sculpture was 2 bicycles that they're a little hard to describe. They had extra crossbars and their pedals were in unexpected places. And you can see a photo of these up on my blog. He said he could ride them, which impressed me. I missed his demonstration, but he had showed how it worked at the beginning of the event. As I viewed the sculptures, I began to ponder how the rules could influence what gets made. For example, I noticed that some sculptures incorporated materials that I'm not sure were trash before they went into the sculpture. Those materials were things like disposable cutlery, straws, Q-tips, and trash bags. I wish there was a way to ensure that the materials were trash first before they were put into the sculptures. I also wish the judges could give extra points to sculptures which incorporated items which do not currently have a means for being recycled easily. And I'm thinking about trash with mixed materials like juice pouches. Some of my favorite sculptures at the contest used paper and cardboard, but in truth, these materials are readily recycled and somewhat easy to manipulate. Anyhow, those ponderings are for another day, but congratulations to the Maryland Department of the Environment to have hosted this contest for 16 years. I decided I would make a list of similar events from around the world. So if your school or community organization hosts a recycled art contest on a regular basis, please message me via Instagram or Facebook, or email trashmagination@gmail.com, and hopefully this list can be a resource for others who might want to organize their own similar events. If you don't have a recycled art contest in your town, you could participate in a virtual contest. Blick Art Supplies held a creative reuse contest in April this year, and I see that they have a mixed media contest currently for students, which uses recycled materials, and entries for that contest are due in April 2018. So again, I will link to those resources on the blog. Now I want to talk about why I think recycled art contests are important. So while I was viewing the contest entries and getting really inspired, unfortunately, outside, someone was breaking into my car. They smashed 2 windows in my car and they pulled apart my passenger side door. When I came out of the contest, I actually saw them running away from my car. And as you can imagine, I was very sad and surprised. I wondered if maybe I shouldn't have even come. But then I thought, we need to keep building a world where people make art from recycled materials. We need people to see how they can create beauty out of nothing. Maybe I can build a business where I can employ people to make items from trash so they will have more options and be able to live more creatively. So that day was a big bummer after the contest. But the very next day, I had a great day because Trashmagination had a table at a craft sale. I had just designed some new prototypes, and they were the first items to sell. So let me tell you about the prototypes. I was trying to take my mats, the ones that I weave from plastic bags, and I wanted to make them into other items because I found that people don't generally need mats. In one case, I made a storage container. I took the wood from clementine boxes and I drilled holes around the edges. I sewed the mat around the wood. Now that might be hard to imagine, but you can go see a photo of this on my blog. It made a rectangular shaped box with a cover. A very supportive guy named Chris bought it. And not only did he buy it, but he drew me a sketch of how to make the next prototype even better. What a great customer! Another prototype I made was a purse. I sewed a handle onto one of my woven plastic bag mats, and the handle was made from a Taekwondo belt. My friend Jen had given me about 20 belts that her children had earned over the years. They are very soft and sturdy, and that prototype sold too, so that was really exciting. And finally, a family bought one of my Trash Anatomy sharks, and this was the first Shark Anatomy model that I've sold. They purchased it for a family member who loves sharks. I also had someone ask if I would make more Trash Anatomy models, and of course, my answer would be yes. As long as I keep getting people who like the shark and who let me know that they like it. So those were the big, exciting prototype purchases. I also sold a bunch of other smaller items that I had made from trash, and the whole day was really exciting. I mean, a few weeks ago, I had attended my first craft sale, and at that one, I made only $21. Whereas at this one, I made almost $200, and I got a whole bunch of really helpful feedback from customers. I feel like I learned so much in such a short time. So, going back to our original topic, I think it is important to host recycled art contests. We need to keep showing the world that there is a way to make beautiful and useful items from trash. We need to let artists know that we appreciate how they are evolving their vision. And on that front, this is the 1-year anniversary of this podcast. I made 32 episodes this year. I started the podcast last December, right before my birthday, because I wanted to get ideas out of my head and into the world. I wanted to get better at talking about my vision for making items from trash. I really enjoy making this podcast, and I have a list of more than 50 items that I want to talk about in 2018. It's my birthday in a few days, if I didn't mention that already, and it would be a great present if you would leave a review. It's like a free gift. Also, if you host a podcast about artists, community builders, or entrepreneurs, I would love to be a guest on your podcast. And one of my goals for Trashmagination this year is to reach out to other podcasters and share more stories. So until next time, may you see trash as just another source of recycled art in your life.